You know, it's possible I should drink less coffee. But this is the simplified, less than 10 minutes narration of this assignment for those that are interested. It's an introduction to UDL and asks you, you'll start with an introduction to UDL and then reflect on your first few weeks of learning experiences or your classes through a UDL lens. If you click on this, it'll take you to the bottom of the page with some important background stuff about UDL. What you're going to submit for this assignment, you'll essentially respond to these items A through K that are below in a format that allows you best to express your thinking and understanding, and that you'll be able to submit via My Courses. So no smoke signals, because even though that you might express that, that will not be submittable. You don't need to use a single uniform format for the entire assignment, what you submit, but it's fine if you do. There's no expectations. I just want to provide the options. For example, if you wanted to screencast some items, create audio responses for others, and write responses for the remainder of them, that's fine. But the goal, just consider this, is for you to choose the format that allows you to, or allow you to most authentically express your thinking. So for the details, there's two parts to the assignment. There are two parts. Part one is an overview of UDL, and it entails prompts A through F. And then part two is about reflecting on your recent learning experiences using UDL as the lens or the mindset, and that's prompts G through K. So for part one, look through the diagram below. It's this one. It's organized by, and it's just the architecture of the UDL guidelines. It's organized by principles, which contain the least amount of detail, guidelines, and checkpoints, which are the most detailed. Put another way, there are three overarching UDL principles, and those are the ones we talked about, the three columns: representation, action, expression, and engagement. There are 9 guidelines and 32 total checkpoints. You'll see that illustrated in this diagram. Then you might want to click the check out the guidelines more closely. That's just a PDF of this document that I showed in class, and you can actually read it. So check those out and then respond to these A through F. For part two, reflecting on your learning experiences, spend 5 or 10 minutes thinking about or walking through, getting your head in the game about what the past few weeks or months, if you want, have been like. And there's no right way to do that, but if you want to record yourself talking or just write it down narratively, however you think would make sense for you. You don't need to submit that part of this. It's just to give you material so that you can work on the G through K. Then respond to prompts G and H. So for this class, then that science methods, what is one thing that has supported your learning? And what is one thing that has been a barrier to your learning? And frankly, if you can't come up with a barrier that has been part of the first 2 classes, I'm not sure you've been there. Also, just know that I have thick skin, and you're not going to bother me. I was a middle school assistant principal for a bunch of years, so bring it. No, and it's more about like, I really do want to know this stuff. Next, for learning experiences outside the class, same 2 questions. What is one thing that supported your learning, and what is one thing that's been a barrier to your learning? Then there's some more detailed resources. You need to create accounts for the first and last one. The interactive graphic organizer is a really good one. It's like the PDF of the guidelines, the visual, but you can also click on any item for more detail. And then answer these 3. So in general, think about all of your teachers in the last few weeks, which of the 3 UDL principles have they best modeled or has been best exemplified by the way that those teachers, again, in general, have designed your learning experiences? Give an example, and then in general, which of the 3 UDL principles have been least exemplified or modeled by how the teachers have designed your learning experiences, and also give an example. And then finally, if you could have a magic wand that changes one thing about the way all of your teachers design your learning experiences for you, don't think about other learners, think about you, what would you change and why? And then which of the 32 checkpoints best describes the change from here. And that's it. There's some extra information here, as I mentioned, that you'll probably want to check out. And I hope this was less than 10 minutes.